Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Cafe. Today I'm going to be going through lesson 2 with everyone. We're going to learn or continue to learn how to annotate today. This is a lesson I'm super excited for because it's like one of my favorite things to do in a text, which is just to dive in and put that together and make meaning out of it. So hopefully you are just excited about this lesson as I am. I also had like 18 cups of coffee, so I'm really excited about this lesson. So grab your hot cocoa, grab a highlighter and a pen. So for today, I'm going to be using this is my fake highlighter, my highlighter and my pen. You're also going to need a notebook, and you're going to need an open mind and lots of love to get through this lesson. All right? So I don't even know. Let me just stop talking. Let's just start. Are you ready? You guys have been not playing with me at all on this Common Lit. Y'all have been going in, showing me your skills, showing me that you know how to dominate this. So I'm really excited to just go over a few shout outs for some of the work that I've graded thus far. If you don't see your name up here, but you know you scored really well on your work, don't worry. I have another round of shout outs going around the next lesson. All right, so let's dive in. We're going to do 2 snaps for the beautiful people on the list today. Our first shout out goes to Layla and Trinity. Both understood what figurative language was when they completed A Rose That Grew From Concrete. That's the poem that came from the very one and only Tupac. Trinity scored 100% on the assignment, and then that wasn't good enough. Like, if getting 100 on the multiple choice wasn't good enough, she completely did a slam dunk with her written answer. She scored a 4 out of 4. So 2 beautiful snaps for Layla and Trinity. I'm very proud of both of you. Next, we have Celia and Jesus. They dominated the open-ended response for Am I Not a Woman? I am really proud that they answered the question in the first sentence and then gave me some examples to back up how to best answer this question. So great job, Celia and Jesus. Ian scored a 95% on getting even. Congrats, Ian. I know it's not easy to get through a reading and multiple choice question, so I'm very proud of that score. Johnny also went in and dominated, scored a 95% on Tale of Peter Rabbit. 2 snaps for Johnny. So proud of you. Celia scored an 88% on Tsunami. This was no easy feat. For whatever reason, poetry is really hard for us, but Celia said not today, and she scored a beautiful 88. 2 snaps for Celia. Jamira scored an 80% on Tale of Peter Rabbit. I'm so glad that Jamira's back on and getting these lessons going. She's doing a beautiful job with her open-ended responses, so please keep it up, Jamira. And last but not least, Amatullah scored at 80% on MVP. It seems like she's a real MVP for making sure she did well on these lessons. 2 snaps for everybody whose name is on this list. I'm so proud of you. I want to do a review with a twist. Usually this is a little bit more interactive. So here's an opportunity for you to grab your piece of paper or your notebook and a pencil. I want you to record the answer for each of these questions, and when we all meet together for morning meeting, I'm going to do this review and see who can answer these 100% correct. So I'm not giving you the answers right now. I want to see if you can come up with the answer. Here is the first question. What does it mean to paraphrase? Right now, take 10 seconds and write your answer down. Again, it says, what does it mean to paraphrase? What's the major difference between a major detail and a minor detail? 10 seconds, go. What's an example of a text feature? Bonus points for people who can name more than 3. What's an example of a text feature? Go. When is Miss Pickens's Zoom office hours? When are my office hours? 10 seconds. Go. And last but not least, when is Penn State's Zoom morning meeting? All right, let's jump into framing the lesson. You may be wondering, hey, Miss Pickens, why is it important that we annotate? Well, I'm here to let you know that we're going to learn how to annotate a text because good readers dive deep into the text to understand all the levels of meaning. This is where the real rich learning happens when you annotate. Think about explicit versus implicit meaning. We need to know what the text literally says, that's the explicit meaning, and then we also need to have a deeper understanding of the text, the things that are hidden, that are not obvious at the surface, that's the implicit. When we annotate, we can get through all of these layers easily and answer both easy and difficult questions about a topic. When we learn to annotate with a purpose, we turn into many geniuses. Now let's take a look at our objective. Students will be able to learn more about how female Olympians made history by annotating and highlighting their obstacles and challenges. I want to note that the Olympian part is going to be the readings that you're doing for homework. Today, I'm going to just zoom in on how to annotate and highlight to figure out obstacles and challenges. So if you happen to notice, like I've noticed, there are some words on this objective that are highlighted in black. We have annotating, highlighting, challenges. Let's dive deeper and unpack their meanings. To annotate means to take notes by marking up on the margins or in the page. We can annotate for anything as long as we have a writing utensil like a pen or a pencil and a task. So we're going to talk a little bit about that task today. Highlighting can simply mean you use a highlighter tool like on Common Lit or News ELA that I'm going to show you how to do in this video, this tutorial. Or that means you literally have a highlighter in your hand and you are highlighting examples from the text that support the task that you are doing. And last but not least, challenges. Challenges basically is your task when we're talking about this objective. It's always easier to annotate when you have something that you're searching for. And a lot of time the instructor will give you what you need to be looking for. We do this every day in class. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to annotate by highlighting and writing, and we're looking for challenges that our characters face. All right, there are 3 steps to annotating. The first step is to look for text features like titles, visuals, subheadings, dates, captions, and then to determine if the text is fiction or nonfiction. Step 2 is to determine the annotating task. What is it that you're looking for as you read the text? What is your mission? Usually I give you guys this mission before you break off into groups in class and then work with a partner. So that's basically what this is today. When you annotate, I give you a mission and then you're going into the text to search for answers for that mission. And step 3 is to highlight evidence or examples that demonstrate your understanding of the task. So basically, what are some examples that answer the question you're looking for? I'm going to show you step 1 by itself, and then I'm going to combine step 2 and 3 in one little video so that you can understand, okay, here's my task, and then here's how I find evidence that supports that. Okay, so I'm gonna model for you guys how to do step 1, 2, and 3 of annotations. And I'm going to be using 2 different colors. One as my writing utensil, one as the highlighter. Okay, so step 1 asks or says to look for text features like titles, visuals, subheadings, dates. Determine if the text is fiction or nonfiction. I'm gonna take a minute and I'm gonna skim, not stem, I'm not a flower. I'm gonna skim the text and I notice 1, I see a title. Take a second, do you see any text features like subheadings, headings, visuals, dates? I see a visual. I see a date here. And I see a date here. So now that I have these things, I also want to think, is this going to be fictional or non-fictional? Sometimes the best way to figure it out is to just read a little bit, right? So I know this is about Rosa Parks. Rosa refuses. I see the bus here. It says the Rosa Parks bus. Then I'm starting to see it was written in 2008, but it takes place in 1955. I'm going to read a little bit more. December 1955, surely a fictional character. I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight fictional. And if you're like me, you know that fictional means that this is not real. However, we do know that this is a historic event. So if I was Zaid, because I know Zaid loves to answer this question when I ask what kind of genre is this text, he would probably say this is historical fiction. It's historical fiction. All right, so let's keep moving. We already talked about step 1, that's just coming up with the titles, visuals, subheadings, and if we see any dates, to access the dates. So now we're going to determine the annotating task. Usually the instructor will let you know what it is you need to be looking for. This is going to be very important when you guys do open-ended questions for a lot of their online work, or if you have like a TDQ, which is a text-dependent question or answer that you need to submit. So we're going to use the same objective or task that was in our objective earlier in our lesson, which is how do the characters respond to challenge? Right now, because I know I'm annotating, I'm just going to write my focus question or my task on the side to keep me focused. So I'm going to put task. How do characters respond to challenges? So this means when I read, I'm going to be looking for examples, right, of how they respond to challenges. So I'm going to have my highlighter and I'm going to have my trusty pen and I'm going to get started and dive in. December 5th, 1955. Dear Elizabeth, guess what's happening in Montgomery? We are having a bus boycott. I see some things already. I'm going to underline bus boycott, and especially this word boycott. I know I've seen this before and I can come up with a definition in my head. To boycott means to refuse or to protest. And if I ever get stumped on a word, remember you can always look it up, or I can continue reading and see if it's going to give me the definition. Let's keep going. Do you know what that is? It's when a lot of people refuse to use a service. Refuse to use a service, like the city bus, is a way of protesting something. So already I know that people in this story are facing challenges and their response is to boycott. This is why I highlighted these sentences so far in yellow. Let's keep going. Starting today, Black people won't ride the buses anymore because of the unfair way the bus company treats us. Awesome. So now I know why they are boycotting. So this is a response. Number 1, this is a response to challenges. That's already one example. I'm going to read this next paragraph and I'm going to pick out maybe 2 or 3 examples. I want to see if you can guess them. Remember how it is here? The Black people have to sit in the back of the bus and the white folks get to sit up front. If the bus gets full, the Black people have to give up their seats to the whites. It's the law.
You're lucky that in Detroit you can sit anywhere you like on the bus. That must be nice. Here's why we're having the boycott. Last week, a Black woman here in Rosa Parks was riding the bus. She was on her way from work. When the bus got full, the driver told her to get up and give a white person her seat. She refused. I see a challenge and I see a response to that challenge. So the police came and arrested her. They took her to jail. Can you believe it? Mrs. Park said she was tired of giving in to white people. So now all 50,000 Black people in Montgomery aren't going to ride the bus at all until things change. The bus company sure is going to lose a lot of money. Aw, shucky ducky. Here are 2 examples of how people are responding to challenges. 1, Mrs. Parks refused to give up her seat and therefore went to jail. So I'm going to put a little note here and I'm going to say number 2 response to challenges. And then as a result of that, how many Black people decided to boycott? 50,000. That's a movement. So now here's a 3rd example of how they are going to respond to these challenges. Let's do one more paragraph and then I'm going to move on. We're all trying to help each other. Most Black folks here don't have cars. The ones that do are driving others to work. I see a challenge, how people don't have cars, and I'll also see a response. The ones that do are driving others to work. Black taxi drivers are charging only a dime, the same as the bus fare, instead of 45 cents for a ride. Thousands of people are walking miles to work, school, and church. The buses are practically empty. The new minister in town, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., is the leader of the boycott. He says that if we protest peacefully with courage and dignity, we can get great changes for Black people. Until then, I'll keep walking. So right then and there, we have more examples. Example 4 and example 5 of how Black people in this article are responding to challenges, whether it be from the society, like the bus boycotts and having to sit in the back of the bus, or if they have to respond to things that are happening within a community, like how a lot of people didn't have cars, so they had other people in the community help them out in order to protest. So we just combined step 2 and 3. We figured out the task, and then we went in for step 3 and highlighted any examples that demonstrate our understanding of how these characters respond to challenges. When you do your homework tonight, I want you to do something very similar.
Here's how you can annotate on Common Lit if you're using a laptop or desktop. So the first thing you're going to do is press the little button that says New, and then this will pop up where it says Select Text to highlight or annotate. The first thing that we did when we were annotating was just going in to see if we can find any dates or words to tell us if this is fiction or nonfiction. So I'm going to take my cursor and I'm just going to highlight, and then this will pop up and you can choose either to add in words or to highlight. So I'm going to use the highlighter and I'm going to use yellow. You can choose any color you want. You know what? No, I'm going to be a little, daredevil today. I'm going to use orange. Okay, so I'm going to click the orange and boom, my highlight comes up. I also want to highlight the word fictional. And I'm going to use that color. Now, say I wanted to write a note. Right? Say I wanted to say, okay, this makes me know that this is not real, but it's historical. I'm going to highlight this again, and I'm going to write text. This text box is going to come up, and then I can type not real, historical, fiction. And that's how you annotate, okay? So say I'm on Clever and I want to access homework so I can annotate on those news ELA articles. I'm going to walk you through the steps again. So I log in as a student. I have somebody saved already. I'm going to go to Ms. Pickens' page. I'm going to click on the homework assignment. And then here comes news ELA. Now I signed in as Trinity. So thank you, Trinity, for letting me borrow this for a second. I'm going to erase everything I wrote. Let's say I wanted to figure out information about the Olympic Games, just regular information. If I wanted to annotate for this, I could just pick something. They took place in the summer, and then once I stop dragging it, pop. Here goes the annotations. You can pick any color you want to highlight, and then you can write something, right? So I could write history of Olympic Games, and then just press save, and boom, there it is. Say for instance, I was like, oh my gosh, like that wasn't my task and I annotated something I shouldn't have. You just click it and then you can press delete, and there it goes away. So that's how you annotate on News ELA. All right, for homework this week, I want you to practice annotating with a few new articles. Take a look at what is due for Monday. You're going to read Alice Coachman Jumps for the Sky and complete the lesson activities. This is going to be on News ELA. You're also going to read on Tuesday, Fastest Woman in the World, complete the lesson activities, practice annotating. Wednesday, you're going to have a little quiz that is going to be the link on Clever for that. It's called Writing Task 1. And then Thursday, you're going to do a grammar exercise. Again, the link will be on Clever. Submit everything by Friday and show me what you know. So I hope that lesson was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to join me for my Zoom call on office hours. I'm going to be available Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're also going to have morning meeting this Wednesday at noon, and you are more than welcome to ask me questions during that time and maybe even get a sweet prize during review. Who knows? So please make sure you stop by if you have any questions. I love you and I miss you, and I'll see you very, very soon this week for the second lesson.